Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Assassin's Creed Shadows Bleed build video. And I just posted that last Kusarigama max DPS build, which I was just trying to do something different, and I was pretty happy with the results for that one. I thought it was a really fun build to play with, and just, for the sake of variety. But as one of you rightly pointed out in comments for that particular video, they were surprised that I didn't do a bleed build. And like I said, I was trying to do something different that was also viable. But the fact of the matter is that bleed is really powerful. And I had been working on a bleed build for Kusarigama. And so this is that build, which I'm actually kind of glad that one of you guys voiced any, I don't know if it was interest, but curiosity about me not posting a bleed Kusarigama build. But let's go and take a look at the build itself. Now this one, there's a couple of things that I figured out. If you've seen any of my previous videos, especially the first ones that I posted, you might have noticed that there's some things that have been changed around and updated because I didn't know that engravings did not stack. So basically what I've been trying to do is put all the global stuff that I want to apply for both weapons, just kind of split it between the armor and the helmet. And we actually haven't really changed the armor. I think this is a pretty strong setup for bleed builds. So it's still the core of my previous bleed build for Tanto and Katana. And this one is the No Apprentice costume, which comes with, the reason that we go for this is because of the synergy, because it comes with tool bleed buildup, and we use that for this build and any bleed builds. So, and then this one came with 1% affliction buildup on consecutive hits, which I still wish that we could get some sort of numbers so we could measure when this caps out. Like if it stops at 4, 5, 6, 10%. We don't really know. It's kind of difficult to say by just eyeballing it. Then I put on the legendary engraving that does a spread affliction buildup on afflicted enemy kill. And that one comes from the No Master Stroke costume, which this one I think comes from either a Kofun or a castle. I can't remember. Or maybe just a legendary chest. And then on the helmet, we have the 25% damage from bleed on afflicted enemies and 20% damage with afflictions. So this is how we want our damage to kind of affect both of our weapons, because if we have any of these, it just kind of lessens the impact. So then we can just concentrate on the specific, so the specific engravings that we want for either the Kusarigama or the Katana. And for the trinket, we're going with the same. It's pretty unbeatable, this combination. So if you go with Oni's Fury and you get the plus 15% damage for non-legendary gear equipped, and then the plus 1% damage per unspent mastery point, which we currently have 181 points unspent. So that's the bonus that we're getting from that. And for this one, so I'm going to give you two options, but this is the option that I like the best, and it does use another legendary slot. So depending, I still haven't seen any confirmation on whether or not the horse, and I haven't tested to see if the horse does any difference, because some people say that it is, one less or one more, because there are legendary horses. So this could take up or impact another 15% slot. So regardless, we're at least getting 45% damage from that trinket charm, or charm engraving. And then potentially we could be getting another 15% from this guy. But we are using the Bloodletter, which comes with bleed buildup, and its engraving triggers bleed on entanglement. And then the engraving from this guy, the Kaen Kusarigama, which this one came from, it's special items that you can buy with keys or with Helix credits but that's actual money, you know. So I would recommend, depending on what you have available. This was available last week, so if you missed out on that, then just wait for it to come back. Also, sometimes some of these items are rotated in the daily items. So I've gotten weapons and trinkets from the daily items. So keep an eye out for this guy. I would not recommend you to actually spend money on buying these items, but you know, depending on if you want to spend money or not, I personally would just wait for it to come back in the rotation. But yeah, so that's the engraving we're using for the second slot, and it's a plus 135% damage when surrounded by 2 or more enemies, which happens pretty much all the time. I do have an alternative if you don't want to go with the legendary item for this. So I have this guy that's, you know, this is just a regular epic, and it comes with plus 6% armor damage with consecutive hits, which synergizes well for our build. And then we just put the trigger bleed on entanglement from the Bloodletter. Alternatively, there's this other epic item that I found, which has better DPS, about 200 higher DPS, and it comes with plus 24% armor piercing with abilities. So anytime you use your ability, you're gonna be doing quite a bit of damage. And then again, the Bloodletter, just because this engraving is really good for the fact that you can get enemies entangled pretty easily, and then you can proc the status effect on command, basically. So that's the alternative if you don't want to go with the legendary. Then this is the katana that I'm going with, which is different than the one that I was using for my other bleed build with the Tanto and the katana. And this one comes with plus 14% damage on hitting afflicted enemies. And then I put the plus 2% affliction buildup per adrenaline chunk filled, which that one comes from this guy, Iga's Flame. And I think this comes from a Kofun, if I remember correctly. This also, I have another tip for you guys. So as you can see, this one actually has pretty high DPS, and it's a rare katana. So it's worth it for you to go to the blacksmith and then check real quick if you have any items that are rare and you haven't upgraded them. You can just really quickly go and check. See this one, let's see. This one is level 37. So you can just use the L2 button trigger to see how high it's going to go if you upgrade it all the way up to 60. And so this one doesn't go that high, but you never know. Like this one goes to 2000, this one 2100, 20. So as you can see, you can, even before you spend the resources, you can see how high it's going to go for the DPS and kind of use that to factor in your decision making. So that's my recommendation. That's what I did with this one. I was looking for something that would be good synergy for this build, and I saw that this one was like level 35. So I clicked to see before I upgraded, and it went up to 2200, which is actually it's like better than most epics that you're gonna find even at level 60. So I don't think I think this might be my highest DPS weapon, and it's a rare. So definitely, you know, so this one is 2237. It's a little bit higher, but is the only other one. No, 2252. So I do have a couple that are a bit higher, but you know, don't discard an item if it has a good engraving. If it comes with a good engraving, just go and take a quick look and see if it's worth upgrading all the way up, which in this case it very much was. So that's what I'm using. And so yeah, that's the build. As for the points, we have the katana points are basically the same that I've been using, that I recommended with my past build. We're doing the dodge attack so we can proc the vulnerable state. Although we don't use it that much, so we could do away with this and get a few more points. Honestly, this is very circumstantial for me, but sometimes it does come in handy. The only thing is with the last patch, they made it so that it's got to be like a perfect dodge and not just like any dodge, which before that's the way that it worked. I haven't tested this myself, but I saw that in a video. I think it was Joe Raptor posted a video saying that, you know, just commenting on the different nerfs that were applied with that update. This one is the one that I definitely recommend for you guys to unlock all the way up if you can, especially because the last level of this, the last tier, gives us the ability to, it's the only way that you can parry unblockable attacks with Naoe. So you have to have a katana. Then we have the same globals pretty much that we've been using. So if you've seen all my videos, but I'll go over them real quick. Melee Expert, Affliction Effectiveness, Momentum Builder, and then we have from the Kusarigama, we have Affliction Builder, Multi-Target Expert, Critical Proficiency, and then these are the abilities that we're using. So Entanglement is pretty important for this one because it, like I said before, it gives us the ability to proc the bleed status on Entanglement with that engraving from the Bloodletter. And then this tug of, if you upgrade it all the way to the highest tier, it gives you this tug of war, which honestly, it's kind of crazy that it gives you, this is a passive and it gives you an attack at the highest level. It gives you this one that deals 50% ability damage and knocks them down. So the reason this is so important is because once you knock down an enemy, if they're still alive, if that 50%, if that attack with 50% ability damage doesn't kill them, it's gonna knock him down, and then it's gonna let you do a ground attack, which those do massive damage. So this is highly, highly recommended. If you're gonna get something unlocked from this skill tree, definitely go with this. Then we have the Cyclone Blast, which we've upgraded all the way up because first it gives you 40% damage increase, and then at the highest tier it gives you 60%. So that's 100% damage increase for this ability. Then from the Tanto skill tree, we're going with with the globals, Critical Thinker and Gap Seeker. And then from the tool skill tree, these are the globals that we're using. And then these are the ones that I like. You know, honestly, you could do away with the smoke one or the kunai assassination or the shuriken stuff. Although I do recommend you to keep the shuriken one, just because this one at the highest tier, you throw 3 shuriken for the price of 1. And I think the second tier, they bounce between targets, so they kind of ricochet between targets, which actually works really well for the bleed buildup. From the Shinobi skill tree, this is something that I like, the Ninja Fall. You don't have to unlock it. Also this faster grapple hook climbing, I like that. This is highly recommended because it gives us the ability to knock down 3 targets and then do ground attacks, which again, they do massive damage. And then this is the one global that we're getting, the Prodigy, to increase ability damage. From the Assassin skill tree, I have all the assassination unlocked, and then double assassination, and then these guys for the adrenaline chunks. We don't really use these, so the only global we're going with is Executioner for more vulnerable damage. Then from the Katana, we already went over that, so that's all the skill tree points that we're allocating here. So that's the build. Let's go. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like in action, and then yeah, honestly, this is kind of broken, and it's a lot of fun to play with. So let me know if you guys liked it in the comments. As always, I welcome your feedback and any suggestions or any ideas. If you want to share any of your builds in the comments, you know, it always helps out other people that are reading them. So yeah, Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Your moment.